I can honestly tell you that I haven't actually been this stressed in over 2 years as I have in this last week. And I'll tell you why. A few days ago, I suddenly realized I had made a very big mistake when I started out becoming a driving instructor. But before we get into that, let me tell you what happened to me last week, because it's a long story. Last week, I was plodding along doing my sunny driving lessons with a skip in my step when suddenly I heard the car making a funny noise. Well, I don't like funny noises, so what did I do? I ignored it. What else would you do? No, instead, the funny noise started turning into a grinding noise like metal on metal. Well, I could no longer ignore this, as you could hear it from around a mile away. And of course, the funny grinding noise was one of the brake pads. And the brake pad was grinding down the disc brake. Now, new brake pads are not that much money. In fact, they're fairly cheap, only if you change them very quickly. Because I chose to ignore the funny noise, I'd now ground down the disc brake, which turned it into sandpaper. So when I got a new pad, I ended up getting a new disc as well. And of course, because it's a lovely Peugeot, the new disc also included the bearing. Don't ask me what that means, but it sounded fancy. Long and short of it, this was expensive. Now, because the car's in the garage, I might as well get that wishbone sorted that's been hanging on to dear life by a thread. Needless to say, £600 later, I'm leaving the garage and the car's back to normal. Or so I thought. So once again, I am doing my driving lessons with a skip in my step. The sun is shining. What's there to be sad about? Until a few days later, when I suddenly noticed my clutch is acting very strange. You're thinking, what do you mean, Josh? Well, every time you press the clutch, it started sticking. Now, if there's one thing I know, nobody likes a sticky clutch. Certainly not when you're learning to drive. So I did what any good citizen would do, and I took her back to the garage, only to be informed that I'm probably going to need a new clutch. How much is a new clutch, you might think? Well, apparently they are not cheap. How my grandma afforded a new clutch every 3 months, I will never know. But there you go. So a new clutch was going to cost me over £900. Well, £600 the week before, plus 900. This car's starting to sound expensive. Let's have a quick look at a valuation. The car is definitely not worth any more than £4,000 at a stretch. So we are over a quarter of the value in repairs in a week's time. I've got a bit of a metaphorical fork in the road here, let me tell you. Do I A, risk getting the car repaired and ending up with more repairs, or B, send Big Bertha to a better place and get a new model, as my wife always tells me she's going to do? I think that's why she made me get life insurance. The problem with plan B is obviously the price of cars at the moment is through the roof, but the price of repairing this car is also going through the roof. And this is where the stress began. Now let's start from the beginning. One fateful summer's day, when I decided I was going to become a driving instructor, I was currently driving around in a heap of scrap metal. Okay, maybe not quite that bad, but it certainly wasn't comfortable enough to learn in coaching and teach people to drive in. So I did my very impatient thing, went out and bought the first car I could find. Now, there were a few reasons for this. The first reason was I was broke. That's why I was learning to become a driving instructor. This also meant I had no capital to put down to buy a car, which means I needed a car that I could start with zero capital. Hence, the best direction for me to go was a PCP. If you don't know what that is a personal contract purchase. Basically, you have the car for a set number of years. In my case, it was 4 years, I believe, 4 or 5 years. And at the end of that time, you give the car back and walk away with nothing, or you pay a balloon payment, which is a final payment of say £3,000 to £5,000, depending on the car, could be more, could be less, and the car is then yours. Now, PCP in general is not an absolutely terrible idea, although I would probably avoid it in future. But in my particular case, my PC was a percentage of over 14% APR. This means over the 3 years that I had it, I paid approximately £4,500 just in interest alone. But hey, what could I do at the time? I needed a car ASAP. I wanted to fully commit to the driving instructing, and I had no capital. 3 years down the line, and over 50k miles of teaching people to drive, and Big Bertha's starting to fray around the edges. She's fraying all over, but we won't get into that. But once again, like most suckers out there, I have not saved enough to suddenly buy a new car, so I need to raise some capital. So I decide I'm going to buy a new car. But like most of us suckers out there, I have not saved enough money to buy a new car. So once again, I need to raise some capital. So what's the first thing we do? We price up the old car, Big Bertha. What's she worth? Approximately no more than £4,000, and that's before we get there and then they start knocking bits off for that and that and that. Next, I need a settlement figure for my PCP. Clear that. Unfortunately, my settlement figure is £5,400. Well, how does that work? The car's worth 4,000, settlement with figures 5,400. I'm going to be nearly £1,500 in deficit if I actually get 4,000 for the car, which I won't. This means on whatever car I buy, I now need to add between £1,500 and £2,000 to the asking price. Oh dear. How did this happen? Let me tell you. So being naive and never having been a driving instructor, not being able to speak to anyone and having no resources, I did not have any idea what to expect, how many miles I was going to do, or the general wear and tear of cars. I've never been a car expert. So when I signed up to the PCP, I estimated around 5,000 miles per year. Now, I was pretty naive in how many miles I was going to do, but this also kept the monthly payments of the PCP very low. The problem was I was doing closer to 20,000 miles per year, if not more. This meant the value of the car was going to depreciate around 4 times faster than the 5,000 miles per year that I originally thought. On top of that, I was paying 14% APR, meaning I paid around £4,500 interest over 3 years. If I had had a far lower APR, I would have had closer to between 3,000 and 4,000, meaning I wouldn't have been in negative equity. So I'm in negative equity. I'm going to owe between £1,500 and £2,000 on top of whatever car I buy. On top of that, I've got to try and raise funds for a new car, and new cars aren't cheap. To make matters even worse, I can't work because my clutch is knackered. So I've still got bills coming in. I'm still paying for a car that I can't use. As you can see, quite the dilemma I am having. So obviously, I learned from my mistakes and I did lots and lots of research on cars and on car finance. And this may have not been the absolute best offer, but for me, it's worked perfectly. I secured a small loan at 2.8% APR to pay for a new car. When I say new, I'm talking a used new car, not a new car, which I'm sure you will agree is far tastier than over 14%. Hopefully this will mean that I'm close to 4.5K better off over 3 years, but we will see. Next, I needed to find a car. After lots and lots of research, I settled on a beautiful Golf TDI, blah, blah, blah. Love it. And it came with some cracking alloys that students can polish curbs with all day long. Next, I needed to get rid of my car and try and get rid of the finance. So I had a few choices. If we can go We Buy Any Car It, one of those places, try and sell it privately, or part exchange. I really needed to try and get rid of some of this stress, so I was going with the part exchange route. So I got the dual pedals out of my car, ready to possibly go into the next car, and took the car down to the garage. So I managed to trade in my car for around £3,600. This didn't cover the PCP on my previous car, so I then had to put an extra nearly £2,000 to cover that. Once that was clear, I then paid the money for my new car. Now, because I have a far lower APR of just 2.8% instead of 14.5%, I should be a lot better off over a 3-year period. On top of that, because it's a Golf, not a Peugeot, I'm hoping the car holds its value a lot better than the Peugeot did. Again, hopefully increasing my chances of a positive equity instead of being in the red. Anyway, this is my story of having a nightmare week as a driving instructor. I hope you have all learned from the mistakes I made, so you lovely people do not have to make those same mistakes. If you have any advice for me at all for any future car buying situations, please feel free to get them in the comments below. I always welcome it. If you enjoyed the nightmare week I was having, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share it as well. I am Josh, your online driving instructor. Let's have a look at the new car. See you all later. She's a